All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Well, excuse me, Monday, March 20th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin. How's it going, Jay?
Hey, it is going well. Jesus Christ, man. USA, USA, USA. Libertad! Libertad is what they were screaming at the game as the Cuban protesters were begging for their freedom to be acknowledged in the U.S. I guess they want the U.S. to go help them become a free country. I don't know. But there sure was a lot of protesting going on at the game. How amazing, though, was that game, Gonzo? How amazing was it? You say, Trey Turner, I salute you right now, but come MLB season, I will loathe you.
Yeah, I didn't see much of yesterday's game. I saw a little bit of the Venezuela game the night before.
Yeah, you saw the one where Bard tried to take out my boy Altuve.
Hey, took him out for a couple months.
Yeah, I think I would suspect to have him back June. Sometime in June, I think we'll get Jose Altuve back. A thumb fracture. I mean, at least it was just a thumb fracture. Could have been much, much worse. Could have been more of the wrist or the ligaments, what have you. But the fact that it's just a thumb fracture, that's just a bone healing. Yeah, that's about 2 months. He'll be all right. Yeah, but he'll be back, Frankie. 2 months. He'll be back. He'll be back in the lineup. Look, Jose Altuve. For those of y'all that don't know, man, Jose Altuve is amazing. Jose Altuve is amazing. He is a strong guy. Fracture, broke, whatever, Frankie. Does it really? You're so hooked up. Look, the boy gonna be back in June, Frankie. That's all we care about. He gonna be back in June, Frankie. Don't you get all crazy over there. We're not playing Timmy Trumpet music like he's going to be out for the whole season. A couple of months, Frankie. No big deal.
You hope it's just a couple months.
Hey, Gonzo. Nobody asked you, the peanut gallery. 2 months. He'll be back in 2 months. I promise. I promise you. That's all right, Anthony Price. What you think? You think because we don't have Jose Altuve, we're not going to get wins? Come on. Anthony, come on.
You might not. Never know.
Hey, no, I do know. I have every confidence that the Astros will be okay in his absence. You know what? I don't. Number one, it ain't gonna be August. That's not gonna happen. It's that ball will be healed up a little bit better than that by August. But I do think it may take him till probably August, to get really into Major League Baseball form because obviously he'll be off the game for a little bit. So if you want to say that, okay, I'll go with you on that. But to say that he won't be on the field until August, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. Hey, listen, you say that now, but when you got to go up against the Mets and Edwin Diaz comes out and Timmy Trump is playing, you can't tell me that them Yankees ain't a little bit worried. Gonzo, they would be worried if Edwin Diaz was coming out there. I'll be telling you something. I don't care what Frankie tells you. This is the same guy that tells you, I don't got a busted bracket. But now it's busted all over the place. And you know what? I took Frankie Cruz Jr. down. That's right, baby. I took him down. I was perfect in that bracket snippet, and he lost 2 games. How you like them Texas Longhorns now, baby? How you like the Texas Longhorns now? What a time to be alive. No, your bracket is not perfect. How can it be perfect with 2 losses? Can somebody please explain to Frankie how a busted bracket works, please? I don't think he understands that. God. Yeah, whatever. You know what, Frankie? I call bullshit.
What was I doing? Okay, yeah.
Bracket's still perfect. Whatever.
Kind of surprised. It did surprise me that United States made it to the championship game. I didn't think their pitching would hold up good enough, but I guess when you're scoring 10 or 11 runs a game, the last couple games, your pitching doesn't have to be don't have to be too great.
Yeah, man. I tell you,
They play tonight.
so now it looks like I guess we're going to get so tonight. Japan plays Mexico. Gonzo at 7.
Okay.
So since they're playing Mexico at 7, and these are two very good teams. Obviously, the U.S. didn't fare so good against Mexico the last go around. We got manhandled pretty well, to be honest with you. Japan is still undefeated at this point. Who do you think is going to be the one to face the U.S.?
I'm gonna say Mexico.
Yeah, I think that Mexico team looks really good. But I tell you, man, so does that Japanese pitching staff. They're no joke, man. Honestly, Otani will be there and a few other guys. I look for Japan to take it. I think it's going to be a U.S. Japan going at it. And I hate to say it, I think the U.S. is going to have their hands full. Look, we all know that Japan has the pitching staff, but we got the hitting staff. And I got to be honest with you, man. Jeez, I'm not going to say I'm nervous, but I am cautiously optimistic that the U.S. team will beat Japan. But I do think Japan moves on from Mexico, and then I think it's going to be an all-out battle with Japan, honestly, in that finale. Yeah, I mean, Japan is stacked. I agree. Oh, dang, somebody from Japan just climbed in. Come once to a basketball game in EuroLeague. I promise you such a thrill that you will not experience in the NBA. Cheering fans, jumpers, lighting smoke flares, and firecrackers cursing. Huh. Okay. I mean, hey. I've never been to a EuroLeague game, so I guess I'll have to take your word for it. I'm nervous. If Japan wins, we have to face Otani. Yeah. I absolutely. There's no way in hell we're not facing Otani. Just go on ahead and put yourself out there and know that right off the rip. And yeah, I mean, I think he gets 65 pitches, Frankie. The man only gets 65 pitches to do whatever it is he can do. So we got to outlast Otani for 65 pitches. And I'll tell you, if the U.S. is smart, they'll take a Jose Altuve approach to it. If you ever watch Jose Altuve when he goes to bat, you'll throw him about 8 or 9 pitches. He might swing out of 2 out of the 8 or 9. I mean, but you'll get at least a good 10 pitch at bat with somebody like an Altuve. And there's other hitters that are out there like that. And I tell you what, I think you take him 10 pitches deep each player, or 8 to 10 pitches each player. You'll have Otani out of the game by the time the second or third inning rolls around, and then you're going to deal with their bullpen. Not that they don't got good pitchers in that bullpen, because we all know what they have in the bullpen.
Yeah, I was seeing who's Japan starting tonight.
Man, ain't nobody need to acknowledge Otani. Otani ain't no damn MVP of the whole damn league. Nobody going to say he's not great, but to say he's overall MVP, get the fuck out of here. No way. I will say this. I think Otani's he's like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just really good at both sides of it, but he's not a Cy Young. He's not a home run derby winner or a home run, leading home run winner, or even leading in the RBIs. So again, and I don't even like Aaron Judge. I'm not an Aaron Judge fan at all, but I'll give the man his props. And when you're leading 2 out of the 3 statistical categories as a hitter, and the one that you didn't get was batting average, and that's because you're trying to get to the 62 damn home runs. So Otani is not the best at hitting, and he's not the best at pitching either, because there's several pitchers that have many lower ERAs. So how are you going to call him the MVP when he's just good at 2 categories, but he's not the best at either of those categories? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, Japan is starting Roki Sasaki tonight, 20-year-old flamethrower. Making a
I heard about that dude. They called him. There's a name, Gonzo. If you look at that article, there's a name for it that means Cy Young, like their version of the Cy Young. But I can't remember what the name of it. It's a Japanese. You know what I'm talking about?
It says making a one night only WBC appearance in Miami. So he hasn't pitched for him any other games in this.
I guess not.
So you can just bring in a player for one game. Hell, why don't we bring in some pitching for the championship game then?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's called Poop Deck. Oh man, yeah. I was reading an article about that flamethrower guy. There's a word they have over in that league that means Cy Young, kind of like it's the same award like our Cy Young award. I can't remember what they call it, but that's what that flamethrower is supposed to be. Is like their version of the Cy Young. So I expect there to be good pitching all around in that finale. Like I said, I think the only thing that makes me nervous and the reason why I think the U.S. might not win is because our pitching staff isn't as good as theirs. And they have just as many hitters as we do. You know what I mean?
He pitched. He has pitched. He pitched 3.2 innings against the Czech Republic. Struck out 8 and allowed one unearned run.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, they got some good pitching on that damn team.
But the Czech Republic only had one player on their team that was a former major leaguer.
Oh, so they're primarily just local talent, not in the MLB talent. Who's their MLB? Is it that Jock Peterson guy or whatever?
It was Eric Sogard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not the name you would think, would it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
So he has pitched, but he didn't pitch like against one of the stronger teams.
Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him when he meets Mexico, and then they'll definitely have their work cut out for him once he meets us. I mean, it's going to be good.
I mean, I guess you could say his work might be cut out harder against Mexico because Mexico whooped our ass.
Man, Mexico did whip our ass, honestly. I mean, but like I said, that's what makes me nervous is the fact that our pitching just isn't as good as theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like I think our pitching is going to be our downfall.
That's what worries me too.
And I don't know if our hitters against their flamethrowers are going to be able to keep us in the damn game if we can't stop them. But I like that Turner, man. Those home runs that he had against Cuba was just stupid, man.
Yeah, but that one he had the night before was even better.
I mean, that guy's just playing good ball right now. Trey Turner is. He's definitely playing mid-season form baseball.
Because Turner's the one that hit the grand slam, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. And that's the thing. Like when this guy when he actually gets in, the MLB games coming out this World Baseball Classic. I mean, he's already going to be dialed in.
I was flipping back and forth Saturday night between. There was all kinds of shit on. But I was watching the college wrestling nationals, of course, NCAA basketball, and also flipping back to the World Baseball Classic, United States and Venezuela, and then I flipped it over here, and U.S. was up like 5-1 or something. I'm like, okay, we're good, we're in decent shape. I go back over to finish watching some of this wrestling nationals. There's a bunch of upsets in it, and then turn it back over. And we were getting beat. Like, son of a bitch. We just fell apart, put in a reliever, fell apart. They came back, and then my dad goes, well, United States back up. Just hit a grand slam. I said, son of a bitch.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, that's the way it was. And, it's going to be up and down like that. When your pitching isn't as good as your hitting, you're going to have games like that. And they're going to have games like that. You know what I mean? You just got to hope that your bats don't go cold like they did in Mexico. That was the thing about Mexico. When we did go flat on our pitching, our hitting just wasn't there to carry us back to the top, and that's what did us in. So that's kind of what worries me about Japan is will our hitting go cold again and not be able to match, what they're putting on the field. You said MVP between, Goldschmidt and Trey Turner, but I'll definitely give it to. I don't know, man. You can give it. Hey, look, that's a horse apiece. You give it to either one of them guys, man. Honestly, I understand why you probably want to give it to Trey Turner because he's got, I guess, more the hyped up, home runs, like you said, the Grand Slam. I mean, that's something hard to overlook. So, in terms of RBIs, things like that, I can see why you give it to Trey. I would give it to. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that.
Gunnar Henderson, future National League Rookie of the Year. Hey, how's it going, Glenn? Dad says Mexico.
I mean, who's to say? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if Mexico goes out there and plays Japan like they played us, I mean, there's no doubt that can happen. I mean, honestly, we could very well be playing Mexico again. Honestly, that's what I want to play as Mexico. I want that revenge game. I don't want there to be anybody saying like, "Oh, well, you got lucky you didn't have to play Mexico twice because they probably." I do want to play Mexico a second time. I think we need to in order to avoid hearing that type of excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you beat, I don't think it really matters as long as you win. If you beat Japan, I don't think anybody's going to say, "Oh, you only region ones." Because
I'm sure they won't either. But you got to admit, you want to the one that beat you. You want to go back there and write that one. I would want to go back and write that.
No, I get that. I don't think people use that like against. Where's Mike Trout though? The so-called beast has even got a hit in the WBC.
Yeah, he's making fun. He's trolling Mike Trout right now, basically saying he ain't doing shit. And I don't have an issue with him. I love Mexico. I don't know what are you talking about. He said you into Mexico. I don't know what y'all talking about. Frankie says he wants to face Japan. I want the best team who hasn't lost a game yet. I mean, well, if they lose to Mexico, that will be a loss. USA needs to have another beer in Mexico. Hey, that Mexican beer is good stuff. That does sakis and, well, they got different stuff down there, I'm sure, than what we get. But he says he hates Mexico. Hey, well, Puerto Rico typically they do have issues with Mexicans. The Mexicans have issues with Puerto Rico. I don't know what got all the bad blood there. The both of you got Spaniard in you, so y'all should be on the same damn fucking plateau.
I heard a thing earlier this morning on the radio that I guess the Dominican Republic was complaining, saying that if this tournament would have been in June, that they think they would have won it. They'd have been more prepared in June than what they are in March. It's like that's the same for about every damn team. So
that makes no sense. That's just people making excuses. Shut the fuck up. You either come to play or you don't. I don't know.
Are you telling me the United States team wouldn't look better in June instead of just right at the beginning of spring training? I mean, you can make that case for any team.
Hey, but I will say this, man. Hey, the Astros pitching Garcia with Mexico and Javier, I believe, out there with Dominic, bro. He may be Cuban, I can't remember. But them dudes have been pitching well, man. Like, the Astros have been getting some good pitching in. Unfortunately, we did suffer the loss to Altuve, but still, man, I think our pitching staff's going to look pretty good come opening day when we got to get the rhythm going. I mean, them dudes are playing lights out. I'll tell you this though, Gonzo, they don't have that pitching clock and new rules and all that kind of stuff in World Baseball Classic. So I'm still waiting to see how that translates once they start playing, under these new rules and stuff. Especially Garcia with that long delivery that he has. Can't he, adjust and keep it going with the new pitch clock?
Yeah, I heard that this morning. when I was on my way back home on the radio, they were talking about that, how the Dominican Republic was, I guess, complaining about the tournament shouldn't be in March, that they wasn't prepared enough. They would be more prepared if it would have been in March. Well, you should have prepared more. You knew it was going to be in March.
Yeah, that's just excuses.
Yeah, how long have how long have they known when this was going to be? Because it's like every 4-year event, so it ain't like they just pulled up in February and said, "Hey, we're going to start the WBC in March. Be ready."
He said Orioles opening day is against the New York Yankees. Oh wow! I hope Orioles go out there and just spank the crap out of Frankie's Yankees. I hope y'all just get spanked. I said, how are we talking World Baseball Classic? Jay come out with, well, the Astros pitcher. Like, shut up. We're not talking about Astros pitchers. No, we are talking about the Astros their pitchers, you asshole, because where are the Astros pitching at? World Baseball Classic. Shut your mouth, you freaking jabroni. Well, Frankie says opening day is versus the Giants. Somebody's got it wrong. Either Anthony's wrong or Frankie's wrong.
Anthony's probably talking about the Orioles home opener.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about his specific opening day. Damn, Frankie, get it together. God, everything's about the Yankees. Our opening day is this morning. Ain't nobody care about them last place loser Yankees who got swept in the damn playoffs. Nobody care about them. I'm gonna ride that to the day I'm gone, man. Frankie never get over that. Yeah, you got beat 4-0. Shut your mouth. He said, "Tell Anthony to get it right." Dustin, what's up, man? How you enjoying that? Oh man, you're back home from the baseball classic. I figured you'd still be down there.
No, it's not in Arizona no more. It's in Miami now.
Oh, I thought you might fly over to Miami.
Nope. Not that lucky.
Yeah, right. Hey, thank you for that air travel. You'd have been over there, though.
Yeah, then I would have.
Hey, I wouldn't blame you either. Hey, shoot, I would be over there too.
Coming from someone crying about Altuve.
Hey, I'm not crying about Altuve. I just said we'd be out 2 months. No big deal. Be all right.
I mean, look at Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, look at Edwin Diaz. Jeez. Ain't no Timmy Trumpet this year.
Reds opened up against the Pirates.
God. Does that just excite you or what?
Hey, Chris could be in first place after the first series.
Oh, my God. It's not a bad idea. I don't even know I don't even look to see the Astros opening day is.
Whoa, shit.
Well, I'm sure the Astros will probably have an end season or in division rival. We'll probably play.
My dad said or last. That's true. Edwin Diaz injury was crazy. I mean, if you watch the video, he wasn't even hardly doing much. That's just a freak accident.
Yeah, it is.
And this is, see, I've been on the fence about this for like the last couple of days, and I know a lot of people say injuries are going to happen and whatnot, and with the World Baseball Classic happening every 4 years, it's pretty much impossible to say a player can't represent their country when this event comes. But I'm kind of on board now to change it. Instead of having it be played during spring training like it is now, why not have the World Baseball Classic be played in December once the World Series is over and run it basically the entire month of December into January, and then players still have that 6 to 8 weeks off before spring training starts? Because you're literally just getting done with the World Series and the playoffs, and 90% of the players that are going to participate in the World Baseball Classic would still be in baseball shape, as opposed to 50% of them perhaps not being in baseball shape when the World Baseball Classic starts.
We play the Chicago White Sox 4-game Homestead Homestead. Wow, that's gonna be a good Homestead. Man, hey, them White Sox. What do you think about the White Sox this year? Are they going to be okay?
I think they'll be better than they were last year. Last year, I thought they would be better than what they were, but they didn't get off to a very good start. But now they have a better. I think who'd they hire as manager? Didn't they hire
The Royals bench coach from last year, whoever that was?
And AP?
June
No, we don't get.
Man. Hey, we play the Reds. We got you guys June 16th, baby.
That'd be an easy win for us. AP, no, they don't give us half price on beer. It'd be nice if they did.
God, we get Cincinnati Reds at home, then the Mets at home, and then LA and then St. Louis and St. Louis. And then, then we got a 4-game at Texas. That's going to be a rough little stand.
When did you say we played the Astros?
June 16th.
Oh, fuck. I was going, well, you guys might win. Altuve might be back with his buzzer by then.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Chris, you feel good? They give you a little tickle. They give you a little tickle right there.
Oh, that's funny.
Got your little stones out there with your little thing. Boo! Boo!
Frankie said, I heard Dustin say
you can't take down this Goliath. I am there.
Behind the Rangers and the Mariners.
Wow. I know Dustin didn't say that. I know he didn't say that.
What'd I say?
He said, I heard Dustin said Astros will be in third place in their division behind the Rangers and Mariners.
I said the Rangers would win the division.
I remember him saying Rangers would win the division.
But I didn't say. I don't think I said Houston.
That's the most asinine thing I've ever heard anybody say in my life.
You know what, Jay? That's what you said the first time he said that back originally when he said it. And you never forgot about it.
Asinine shit I've ever heard in my life. And you're supposed to be this baseball guru.
Hey, the Rangers are going to be.
What? You can see what?
I can see the Rangers win that division. You don't think the Rangers have a chance to win that division?
Texas was a top 5 team in runs scored last year, but they were bottom 3 in ERA. If their pitching can match up to their hitting, they have a chance to win that division.
Yeah, who got the fucking ring? Shut your phony mouth.
That's
what you say.
This is a new season.
God. Well, the Astros for the Rangers. But who got the ring?
It's a new season, though. Not last year. This is this year.
Every year. We got to prove ourselves every year. And I don't understand why people just can't understand how good we are. Every year, we got to prove ourselves.
So every team has to prove herself every year. Are you saying that?
No.
We should just give the Astros the division at the beginning of the year?
No. I'm saying Gonzo, you know it's true. Every year, Astros got to prove their respect. We always get disrespect. Oh, well, the Rangers are this and the Seattle is that. And then, well, come on. What the fuck are the Astros?
The Astros? How you get disrespected?
Because y'all always want to, everybody always says, well, the Astros going to be in third place. The Astros going to be this. Nobody ever says, they don't ever get, the Astros never get their just desserts. But that's okay. Because when we come out at the end of this and we're in first place, I'm going to come back to Dustin. I'm going to say you were wrong. Dustin's going to come with a litany of excuses as to why he thought he could have been right. That's how. Look, I understand. That's how this network works. Astros get no love. We get no respect. We got to go through every single year and prove that we are the best team in baseball in order for people to believe that. No. That's the Yankees that don't always win the division. Okay. That's okay, man. Frankie just throwing that Yankees hate that way. That's okay. That's okay. 2007. Look, and people are going to say that eventually. So we're going to do when 2027 rolls around, and that ain't that far away. What's that? That's like 4 years away from now. So it's going to be 10 years, and we're going to say, the Astros. That was like 10 years ago. Oh, my God. Let that shit go. Sometimes you gotta let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go.
Oh. I think they get their respect. Just not everybody's going to pick the Astros to win that division every year. I mean, hell, I pick the Reds to win their division every year. It don't happen. I'm not whining the
Did
people.
you seriously just compare the Astros to the Reds?
No. I'm just saying that everybody has an opinion.
I felt like there was some comparisons that he was making, and I think that's bullshit.
What I'm saying, Jay, is just because somebody don't have the Astros winning the division doesn't mean they're disrespecting the Astros.
Yeah, because look at the Los Angeles Dodgers, for example, Jay. This is the first year in 8 years that a lot of people are picking the Padres to overtake the Dodgers this year.
Well, that's not a hard thing to figure out. Look how much catastrophe that lineup has gone through out there with the Dodgers.
You could say the same thing about the Rangers in Houston, though. Look at the additions the Rangers made, and look at what
they
Houston
got some
is really
old ass. They brought in some old ass, still on pitching okay player. Hell, Jacob deGrom. I got left side soreness. Okay, well we ain't got a spring training yet. Well, now he says he feels okay. I don't know, man. I'm not a believer. I'm not this. I don't believe in all the shit they've done. So I'm sorry. I'm not on that train yet. I think their pitching staff is a little older. I understand they got lighter. I get that and things like that, but
that's fine. You don't have to be on that train.
Yeah, I'm not even banking it necessarily on the pitching staff. I'm banking on Bruce Bochy. That's the biggest acquisition that nobody talks about that any team has made this offseason. It was the Rangers getting Bruce Bochy.
Oh, I said bringing in Bruce Bochy was good for that team. I did. I said that, but they're not taking over the Astros. That ain't gonna happen. That is not gonna happen. That's okay. Every year we gotta prove ourselves. Every year it happens. Every damn year. I promise you. Every damn year I gotta deal with this. It's okay. It's okay, man.
Every team has proved herself every year. AP says like saying Cowboys win the division every year.
Actually, Cowboys don't win. Hell, we didn't win it this year. The damn Eagles won it this year. This year we had to settle for a wild card berth. And of course you would hope that the Astros have interest, because if they don't, that's the only way you can get a damn ALCS win is if we have injuries, Frankie. Because quite honestly, if we don't, you can't match up with us, you losers. That's what losers say. I hope his team has injuries. That way we can finally get into the World Series. I hope this, and I hope that. I hate that way of thinking. Well, I hope he gets injured.
I'm not hoping they have injuries. I'm just saying it's a new season. You never know what's
going on. No. Gonzo, you're right there with him. I know secretly
you said they have injuries.
I know right now secretly in your room you got Joe Boo. Hold on, you got Joe Boo, and you got this little plastic Jesus on a cross, and you're probably saying, I hope the Astros have injuries.
You're not putting them words in my mouth. When have you ever heard me say that I hope somebody has an injury?
Oh, no. I didn't say you did. I said secretly, though, in the privacy of your bedroom, you've got little built-up shrines that you pray there.
Believe me, the Astros don't take up that much room in my head.
I know. I got to stop letting Frankie rent the left side. I've been letting Frankie get into the left side too much. Oh, no, whatever.
Exactly. It's a new season. He's talking like the Astros will be healthy and beast all year.
Truthfully, had it not been for the Altuve injury, I don't really – the only one that really kind of worries me on the injury level – well, I shouldn't say the only one. There's two guys that really worry me. Obviously, Jordan Alvarez. He always comes with these weird injuries like his hand injury that was swelling on him. And then I think the other one obviously is Altuve just because he just got that fractured thumb. So – those are really the only – and then I would say Michael Brantley because, Brantley, I don't know, man. That's another guy that gets weird injuries. Like he'll get that neck strain or that shoulder strain or something. So
hasn't Altuve had – I mean, I'm asking this. This is a legitimate question. Hasn't he had some back issues?
I don't think he has. Not that I'm tracking.
I thought
I'm not tracking him with back issues. I was tracking. I think Brantley had back issues.
Okay, maybe it was Brantley. I was thinking for some reason I was thinking Altuve in the
Yeah,
past.
Brantley's had like a myriad of issues, man. For the most part, Jose Altuve, he's pretty damn durable. He don't really. I think they give the day off a couple of times, just to rest him up. But in terms of injury, he really never has. He's really never down with injury. He's a pretty resilient kid out there.
Hey, Dustin, how was was you at the game on Saturday?
No, that was in Miami on Saturday. I got back.
Miami.
I got back Friday night, and then my son had state basketball this weekend in Milwaukee, so I went down for state basketball.
How good is this pitcher Japan's pitching tonight against Mexico?
Who is the starter again? I have to look. I didn't look at who started.
21-year-old that Roki Sasaki or Sasaki.
He will be the most highly coveted free agent next offseason if he's posted. And from all reports, it does look like he is going to be posted this upcoming offseason, which means he's going to probably have at least 15 to 20 suitors in the Major League Baseball that want to take him.
That's the same guy they said is the Japanese Cy Young or whatever over there?
Yep.
Yeah, call him the flamethrower or something.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder who's going to wind up lassoing him in then. Would he have to go to the international draft? Is that what they're going to do with him? Or?
No, for Japan players do not have to go through the international draft process because they play for the MPB, and then their team kind of like posts them as kind of like a trade where when they get posted, whatever team signs the Japanese player then has to pay a posting fee back to Japan. So it essentially kind of works out like a trade or whatever. But this guy pretty much makes Shohei Ohtani look slow on the mound.
Damn. Okay.
Which U.S. is kind of catching a break because he pitches tonight as opposed to tomorrow.
Well, how fast is this fastball?
He averages 102.6, and he can throw 100 miles an hour into the eighth inning.
Wow, so he can go a long. So how many? So he could go roughly, 80, 90 pitches and still be in the 100 mark.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder how long pitchers like that last though before their arm wears down. If you're going that many innings.
He's 20. He's 21 right now, going on 22. So.
I mean, I understand he's a young cat. It's just usually when those guys have that kind of heat and if they go that long in a baseball game, you got to imagine those ligaments and things like that. They wear out slinging that ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You think Mexico can beat Japan?
They have a chance. I think Mexico, to me, was, after watching what they did to the Americans in that second game of pool play, I think Mexico was one of the more overlooked teams when the World Baseball Classic started. Because all you heard the entire time was Team USA and Colombia were going to come out of that pool. Team USA and Canada were going to come out of that pool. Even in the other side of things, Dominican Republic was probably one of the bigger disappointments this year, but on the flip side, Venezuela surprised a lot of people by going undefeated in pool play. But Mexico is one of those teams that can beat anybody. They have an offense that I think has surprised a lot of people for how many runs they can score. Their pitching is certainly held up a lot better than what people expected, and they have an X factor that not many people knew about until the World Baseball Classic and Javier Assad.
Yeah, he's pitched. He's played well.
He's one of the Cubs prospects, and he's not even listed in the top 30 prospect rankings. And when spring training started, David Ross kind of listed Javier Assad as a guy to contend for like the number 5 spot in the rotation. But he's just dominated hitters out of the relief role in the World Baseball Classic. A guy that normally throws around 92, 93 has been sitting 96, 97 in the World Baseball Classic. And now you have people talking about him being the closer for the Cubs when the season opens.
That's it. That's crazy.
I don't know if you heard it. I heard a report earlier that the Dominican Republic was complaining, saying that if the World Baseball Classic wouldn't have been in March, that was the reason they struggled, because it was in March and they wasn't prepared enough.
That's that brings me kind of back to my point that I made earlier, where I'm at the point now where I love the World Baseball Classic. I would like it to happen more than every 4 years, even though I don't think it will happen more than every 4 years. But I want to see it happen in December as opposed to having it happen in spring training. For that reason, a lot of these teams at this point of the year are still not up to baseball speed. They're still not up to baseball shape because they get those couple months off between the end of the regular season, the end of the World Series, and when spring training starts, versus if you have it right happen in December, these teams are only getting 4 or 5 weeks off, and then they're getting right back into competitive baseball, where if teams know that the World Baseball Classic is going to happen in December, whoever's been invited to play for their countries, you're probably not going to have them take the time off after the regular season. They're probably going to go to a winter baseball site and just get as many swings as possible in just to stay in baseball shape. And I think you would see some more competitive matchups, or at least better games from some of these players, just because a lot of the players have disappointed in the World Baseball Classic this year.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but to me, it was the same for all the teams. So if you're, it's to me, it's more of an excuse that, oh, we'd have been better in June. Well, I think the United States would be.
Well, it is and it isn't, because you got to look at, like we talked about this on our baseball show before. How many of these countries actually have winter leagues where players get to play the full 12 months of the year? And you look at the team Dominican Republic, where 90% of that roster are major league players that don't play winter ball.
Yeah, but well, that's what I'm saying, though. Team USA could say the same thing. A lot of them players don't play winter ball.
And look at how bad Team USA looked in pool play. They didn't really start playing well until they got to the elimination round.
Well, I'm saying it's the same for everybody. Is why to me that was just more of an excuse, because it's the same for everybody. Yeah, I think all the teams might look better if they'd done it later on. But just to say use that as your excuse for underperforming, I think a lot of teams could use that same excuse.
Yeah, this has been talked about since the last World Baseball Classic, though, too, because a lot of countries now are starting to see that when you have it during spring training, a lot of the players that you want to play for your country ultimately don't play because they don't want to get hurt heading into the regular season, which is why you have a lot of these minor league players on some of these teams. You have a lot of these international players that are just playing winter ball, just trying to make a name for themselves, that get called up to Cuba. You have it in December. I think you're going to have more of these star Major League Baseball players on each one of these rosters, because at that point, what do they have to lose at that point? They're getting extra baseball in to stay prepared for spring training.
Yeah. What you think, if they'd done it in like December, do you think it would hurt the World Baseball Classic going up with against the NFL? I mean, only good thing is you only have NFL games basically on Thursday and Sunday. So
yeah, that's what I think World Baseball Classic would have going for them, because you got to look at when the game starts. Some games started at 6 o'clock in the morning because they were played in Korea. Some games started at 11 o'clock in the morning because they were played in Taiwan or whatever. So with the World Baseball Classic, yes, it would go on during the NFL season, but they can kind of dictate when those games start based on where they elect to put the pools. So they really wouldn't have that competition, because they could work around the NFL schedule and be like, Saturday and Sunday, or Sunday when the NFL is going on, we'll have our 6 o'clock and our 10 a.m. games played overseas, and then the rest of the week we'll have their late games being played because nothing is competing with us at that point.
Yeah. What do you think, Jay? You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. My stupid. Now, what was the question?
Jesus.
Was you asleep over here?
No, I'm sorry. I was texting my wife. She was asking me some question about the builder. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh man, I forget now.
The question was.
Damn it.
The question was, do you think the World Baseball Classic should be played now in March or played in December? And if it is played in December, do you think it would be hurt because of the NFL?
No, leave that bitch in March. I like the way it is right now, because I think you get it. I like the way it is right now because it coincides with spring training. So I don't like them guys pitching 2 times in 2 different whatever. No, pitch it now the way it's done, incongruent with spring training, so everybody's getting trained up at the same time, and then let it go. I think if you wait till December, you're competing with too many other things, and it's right there after October baseball. No, I'm good. I like it right there in March as it's lined up with spring training. I think that's the best time to do it. Why am I pitching twice?
Pitching twice.
Well, pitching twice in terms of longer. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to pitch right after the World Series. Well, if you make it that far, Gonzo, you probably don't know that because y'all usually get kicked out much sooner and you got more rest time. Same thing with the Cubs. So y'all might not have to worry about that. But for teams like the Astros who go deep in the playoffs, why do I want to do deep in the playoffs? Finish the playoffs, then come back and pitch a little bit more in December, and then get ready for. That's just too much wear and tear on the body.
But then you would have after December you'd have the rest of the off season to rest.
Yeah.
And then if a player gets hurt, say if a player
I'm gonna use Jose Altuve for example right now, Jay. He's gonna miss 2 months right now.
Yeah.
If he breaks his hand in December, he doesn't miss any time. He gets the spring training on time, and he starts spring training on time without missing any extended time. Edwin Diaz, that's a different story. He tears his ACL now or he tears his ACL in December. He's out for the year regardless. But for a Jose Altuve injury, you're not missing any regular season time. You might miss a couple weeks in spring, but that's still spring. You would still have 4 weeks of spring to kind of get yourself ready. Versus now, he's missing 8 to 10 weeks of that regular season.
Look, here's the deal. You can make that argument, and I can make that same argument about pitchers overextending their pitching use of their arm, and then wind up tearing a ligament in their arm. I mean, if an injury is going to happen, it's going to happen. I don't know if we can really prevent that, but for me, I would much rather have it coincide with spring training to where everybody's getting geared up at the same time, and then you roll right into the season. I mean, but there's valid arguments. I think there's pros and cons, right? The pros and cons, what you're making in terms of Altuve breaking it. That's a valid pro. I mean, there's ways you can look at it. There's pros and cons, I think, to each argument.
The thing with the pitching, though, why do you think they have the pitch limit right now? Because
that's probably to preserve them for their regular upcoming season.
That's part of it. But the other reason is they know the pitchers aren't up to speed yet to throw 100 pitches in the game. Versus if you have the World Baseball Classic in December, the pitchers aren't going to have those restrictions because they're coming off of throwing 100 pitches a game. You're not going to have to restrict the pitching. You're going to be able to let them go, and they'll tell you when they want to come out as opposed to, oh, I got a guy having a no-hitter through 4 innings, but I got to pull him because he has 64 pitches. Because there's rules in place for the World Baseball Classic right now where a pitcher can't throw more than 65 pitches in the first round. They can't throw more than 80 pitches in the semifinals or the quarterfinals, and then they can't throw more than 90 pitches in the finals. That's because Major League Baseball knows that these pitchers aren't physically conditioned enough to throw 100-plus pitches in the game yet because they had those 3-4 months off during the winter where they're throwing, yes, but they're not really doing pitching. They're just getting out there to throw to keep their arm loose versus you have that World Baseball Classic in December. As soon as that regular season ends, the pitchers are going to do what they need to do to keep their arm in baseball shape so when it starts back up, they don't have to follow those same restrictions. They can just go out there and keep pitching.
Well, what if you're a team like the Reds who, you stop pitching and, when the Major League season ends, and then you got to crank it back up in December? Isn't that still kind of the same issue?
Not really, because they wouldn't shut themselves down for 4 months. They would still do, throwing exercises for, the next 6 weeks just to keep their arm, in baseball shape versus now when the regular season ends in September, most pitchers don't even do anything for the first 8 to 10 weeks after the season's over. They literally pretty much shut themselves down, isolate themselves from baseball activities to spend as much time with their family as possible, and they're really not starting any throwing regimes until about January. So they literally take 2 months off before they even start throwing again versus you do it in December. They're still going to be throwing. They just won't be throwing as hard as they typically throw. They'll just be doing enough to keep themselves conditioned enough, keep themselves in baseball shape so when they know the training portion starts up for the World Baseball Classic that they can just get after it and start throwing again.
So how would December mess with winter leagues?
Winter leagues start first week in January and typically run through middle of February. So you would literally just play the World Baseball Classic in December, once the World Baseball Classic ends, you'd have a 2-week break until Winter League start.
I don't know. Me personally, I think that's too much pitching over too long a period of time. I think they need to have that break to let their bodies acclimate and rest and do all those things. I'm just not a big fan of it, but I mean, my pick. I guess for me, I'm okay with the way it is right now. I just think that's too much pitching. Especially if you make it deep in the playoffs, that's like boom, 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 boom. I don't know.
Yeah, Jay, the pitcher that Chris was talking about is that Roki Sasaki.
Yeah.
In April of 2010, he pitched a perfect game, which was the first perfect game since 1994. His very next start, he pitched 8 more perfect innings and threw a no-hitter. So he had a perfect game and a no-hitter in back-to-back starts, and he struck out 26 hitters in those 2 games.
Yeah.
That pretty much put him on the map, and it was in the perfect game that he threw. He had 14 strikeouts and 102 pitches in that perfect game, and he struck out the side in the 9th inning where all 8 of his fastballs are over 101 miles an hour.
I have no doubt about it. I mean, that's incredible. I just wonder, when you're throwing that long and that hard, if there's going to be, just if it's going to lead to injuries down like how long will that cut his career short? I mean, I know they got Tommy John and things like that you can always do, but that's pretty hard throwing, man, for a long period of time.
Yeah, the pitcher that if Japan wins tonight, which I think they will, the U.S. is either going to have to see Shohei tomorrow or they're going to have to see Yoshinbu Yamamoto. And Yoshinba Yamamoto is a 24-year-old who has a 54-23 career record with a 1.95 ERA.
Bet you can't say that last name 3 times fast.
Yamamoto.
No, the other word.
Yoshinbu.
I don't believe you're saying it correctly, sir.
It's Yoshinbu.
I think your pronunciation on the boo part is a little off-putting. You might want to research it.
It's BU, Yoshinbu.
You're a Yoshinbu. Your hairstyle's a Yoshinbu. I've seen certain monks with that hairstyle. We can part of Shaolin.
Jay, what'd you think of the?
What's that, Gonzo?
What'd you think of the Cowboys making the trade for Cooks?
Man, I like it.
No, you don't, because that takes you out of the OBJ running.
I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. Again, hey, nothing against OBJ, but number one, if you're asking for $20 million, nah, kick rocks. We're good.
OBJ came out and said he'd like to know where that report of 20 million came from because he never said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if that's what he's expecting, we're not going to do it. I think OBJ is a.
He said
$8 million.
Yeah. All he said that was 4.5 wasn't enough. He never, according to OBJ, he's saying that he never said that he wanted 20 million.
No, I think OBJ is worth around the 6 to 8 million. Just because of injuries, to be honest with you. I think 6 to 8 million is perfectly good for OBJ. That's what I would be willing to spend. But I like Brandon Cooks. He's 29. He's a little shorter. He's only a 5'10", but he does have some speed, and I think he will help out a lot on CeeDee Lamb and Gallup in terms of opening up the field for them. I just wish they would get Dalton Schultz back under contract. I'm not going to feel good until I get a tight end for Dak to throw the ball to when the play breaks down. So I still think they need to get Schultz under contract, but I'm okay with the Brandon Cooks. What did he cost us? A 5th-round pick this year, and I think a 6th-round pick next year. All right, I'll give up that for Brandon Cooks. Yeah, no problem. And out of the $18 million, Cowboys only going to pay 12. The Texans pay the other 6. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
And the other thing with Cooks is, can he stay on the field?
That's like saying, can OBJ stay on the field? I mean, That's what we're waiting on right now.
I never said go get OBJ either. I'm just saying Cooks.
Hey, calm down over there. I never said you did. God.
I'm just saying that's one thing you have to worry about.
You gave me the look of like you were pissed off at me, man. Damn. Only my wife gives me that look, Chris. You better smile when you talk to me.
I'll give you whatever look I want.
Well, damn, somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. Hey, little stat man over there, give me the look of, Full Metal Jacket sitting on the pot. This is my weapon. This is my gun. This is my rifle. This is for fun. Hello, Joker. How are you doing? Just saying. God. Bad. No, but hey, speaking of which, let me ask you this, stat guy. Lakers, Utah, those guys, I think they're going to continuously swap that play-in spot forever and a day until the season ends. Do you see the Lakers ultimately getting into this play-in, or do you think that Utah can actually hold on to that 10th spot?
I think Utah can hold on to the 10 spot, but I think the Lakers find a way to play themselves out of the play-in.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers can move up to the 6th seed if everything falls into place the way they are hoping it to be, and I think Utah ultimately is going to hold on to that final play-in spot. The one team I think would be the odd team out. I don't think Minnesota is going to hold on to their spot. They were a team that came in with they were a team that came in with a ton of hype this year. They were a team that came in with a ton of expectations, but not having Karl Anthony Towns right now is really hurting that team. And now Anthony Edwards goes down with a high ankle sprain, so nobody knows how long he's going to be out. That's going to be a huge blow to Minnesota.
Oh, that's a death sentence for Minnesota. Let me ask you, before we get to Minnesota, because there's actually a couple of more things really talk about Minnesota. But before we get to that, let me ask you this: when it comes to the Lakers, do you think how long do you think it's going to be before we see LeBron? Because Ham has hinted that he sees LeBron coming back before the end of the season. Do you see that happening? Or do you think that they wait and see if they get to the play-in and then bring Braun out?
I think it ultimately determines if they're in the playoffs or not. If the Lakers know that they're going to be in the play-in round regardless if LeBron comes back for the regular season, or if they know they're going to be in that top 6 line and they don't have to worry about it, I think he sits until the playoffs start. There's no reason to bring him back if you don't need him at this point. But if the Lakers are in a situation where they keep flip-flopping with Utah for that final play-in spot, they're going to use him as soon as he's ready. Whether that's with 5 games left, whether that's with 4 games left, whatever it is, if they have a shot to miss the playoffs, they're going to use him to put them in. But if they know that they're going to be in the playoffs one way or another, I don't see him coming back until the playoffs start, because there's no reason to bring him back if you know that you're going to be in.
My other question is, so Houston right now is second to last. Detroit is actually dead last right now. And I'm just speaking solely from a lottery perspective. Do you think Houston ultimately gets that number 1 lottery, or do you think Detroit holds on to that relish spot and keeps it?
Well, it really don't matter.
It doesn't matter because it's how the ping pong balls fall. I mean, it
does matter in terms of how many balls you get, unless you're telling me.
Yeah, but you got to remember now they changed that format now a couple of years ago, where the teams with the first, second, and third worst record all have that same chance to get that number 1 pick.
Right.
So right now you're looking at Houston, San Antonio, and Detroit having the 3 worst records. I'm not going to be surprised at all to see San Antonio get it.
So they all get the same amount of balls. First, second, and third all get the same amount of balls.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They changed, I think, last year, the year before that, they changed that. So the top 3, teams with the 3 worst records all have like an 11.7% chance to get the number 1 pick. The team with the 4th worst record has like 10.3, and then like 9, and then 8, so on and so forth. But the bottom 3 teams in the league all have that same equal percentage to get the number 1 pick.
Oh, that's
one of the things they done to try to help keep teams from trying to tank to get that number 1 spot, because No,
Don't worry. That's
Yeah, because look who got the number one pick. Look who got the number one pick last year.
What's that?
Look who got the number one pick last year.
Yeah, it was Oklahoma.
Orlando.
No, it was
Orlando.
Detroit, wasn't it?
No, it was Orlando because they got Paulo
Orlando.
Banchero.
They got Banchero.
And they had the third worst record in the league last year, but they still had the same percentage that Houston had. They still had the same percentage that Oklahoma City Thunder had, but yet Orlando got the one pick and Houston got the third.
Yeah, I remember that. Going back to that real quick to that Minnesota issue, though, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know about you, man, but I still think this Rudy Gobert thing that they brought in, it just – man, they sure gave up a lot to bring this guy in, and it just has not – in my opinion, it hasn't really come to fruition. I don't think that him and Karl-Anthony Towns could play together on the court together. I mean, I just think – do you think ultimately that was the worst decision that Minnesota made was bringing in Rudy Gobert and giving up everything that they gave up to bring him in?
Not really, because when Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns were on the floor together, they were 19 and 13. So they were coexisting pretty well for a while, and they were a top 5 team in the Western Conference. And then once Karl-Anthony Towns got hurt, they kind of started to slump, and now not having Anthony Edwards, I think, is their death sentence this year. But it took them a little while to gel together, but they weren't playing that bad together.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Dustin. I think it's too soon to know if it would work or not, just because they didn't get to play enough games together because of the injuries.
Yeah, they had a 32-game sample size together, and in that 32 games, they weren't playing that bad.
Well, you know what they say, though. The best ability is availability.
And if you were going to lose one of your big men, you'd rather lost Gobert than Cat.
And they're not. And they're not the same type of player. You have a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, who's more of the stretch forward that likes to sit out by the perimeter and shoot threes, versus Gobert is more of that inside guy that likes to crash the boards and just play in the paint. So that gives them a nice inside-out combination with 2 7-footers.
Well, it can't be that nice because they're not in the top 5.
Because Karl-Anthony Towns hasn't played in 2.5 months.
That's not my problem. I'm just saying it can't be that nice. Look, you can have all the – my point is this. You can have all the best damn players in the world. I think LA is a prime example of that. You got 2 of the best players, but yet neither one of them really hardly ever play, which is why they're in the position in which they're in. And I see the same thing with Minnesota. I mean, like I said, availability versus ability. I mean, you got to be able to be on the court, or otherwise it really doesn't matter.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying I think it was too early to say if that was a bad trade because they haven't been on the court together enough.
I just think when you give up the farm, when you give the number of draft picks and players that they gave up for that guy, that's going to be a slam dunk, or to me it doesn't work.
The guy they gave up the picks for was on the court. It was the other guy that was on the court.
Yeah. Yeah, boy. All right, good times. Well, we shall see. And I think, do you think that Minnesota makes it or they stay in the playoffs, or do you think that eventually they work their way out because of those injuries?
Depending on how long Anthony Edwards is out, I think they're done. If he's going to be out for an extended period of time, they don't have their top 2 scorers in Minnesota anymore. That's just going to be too much for them to make up, especially when they're only a half a game ahead of the bottom 2 teams in the play-in spot right now as it is.
Right. What's up, Frankie Frank?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
We are doing well. That guy has finally made it back home. He's in his comfortable white chair, chilling.
That sucks. If it was me, I'll stay in Miami, tell my family to go home.
Hey, I wouldn't mind going to Miami. They got some good weather down there this time of year. Some good sightseeing. So, what do y'all think about the Lions snagging up Garner Johnson on that cheap deal?
That was amazing.
How's that going to play out with them now? Now they got what? So they got Cam Sutton, and then they got Okuda. And then you got your safety is Garner Johnson. That backfield is looking pretty nice.
All the Lions need to do now is draft someone for the defensive lineman to back up Aiden Hutchinson.
Man, if they get the battery mate for Aiden Hutchinson along that line, oh hell, man.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they have a first-round draft pick, but if they do, I'm pretty sure it's a high one.
Oh no, they do.
They do, yeah. They pick. I think they pick 10th or no, they pick like 14th or 15th.
Yeah.
I know the Patriots. They probably picked 15th because we got 14. So
Yeah.
even with the 15th draft pick, you could still get a high caliber defensive.
Oh
lineman
man, Miles Murphy
to
will
back
be
up.
there.
Yeah,
I think Carter's going to slide down to 5. I think Anderson slides up to number 3 with the Cardinals. But I think Miles Murphy. I think you could get Miles Murphy out of Clemson to put on the other side of him.
It's insane the way that we're looking at Detroit right now. Because a couple of years ago, we looked at Detroit and they weren't even on this level that we expected them to be on. Then they make a little bit of a noise last year towards the end of the season where they were,
Right.
they were racing for a playoff spot. Didn't get to, be in the best of their hands. But the head coach ended up coming at the end of the season saying, "Don't worry, we're gonna be better next year. I promise you." And he's given them that promise. Literally,
I'm telling you. Hey, listen. I'll tell you right now. Detroit, Chicago, and then Minnesota. That's going to be a pretty tough division next year.
Yeah, like when have we ever said or even think to say Green Bay Packers will be 4th in that division?
That's incredibly crazy to me to know that.
Exactly. Just to sit here and
I
think
mean, that hasn't happened in decades, like 2 decades.
And the sad and scary part about that is, even if Aaron Rodgers ends up staying in Green Bay, you look at the Green Bay Packers roster, it is the worst roster in that division right now.
It really is worse, especially with.
I mean, you could technically say they have a slightly better roster than what the Bears have right now, but we don't know what the Bears are going to do in the draft. We don't know what the Bears' plans are going to be yet for the rest of free agency. But once all that is done, the Packers are probably going to have the worst roster in that division heading into next season.
Even with
let's be honest. I mean, I'm sure Jordan Love will be okay, but he's still an unproven quarterback. You really don't know anything.
But he doesn't have nobody, Jay.
What he's going to do.
He doesn't have no one. Christian Watson is not that guy for him.
Oh, of course
he
not.
Really isn't. And
he has no tight end. He has no.
It's not even the whole Christian Watson. It's not even the whole Christian Watson thing. Losing Alan Lazard is going to be a bigger loss than what people think because he was the most trusted receiver out of everybody in that wide receiver room last year. Losing Randall Cobb is going to be bigger than what people realize because he was the veteran presence on that offense outside of Aaron Rodgers that can kind of help keep everybody together. So if they do go with Jordan Love next year, not only do you not have your most trusted wide receiver option in Alan Lazard, you don't have your veteran presence in Randall Cobb, you don't have your best red zone target in Robert Tonyan. Outside of Christian Watkins, what do you have?
Did it surprise you guys that the Lions didn't keep Jamal Williams?
No, that David Montgomery.
Yeah. Once they got David Montgomery, I knew Jamal Williams was going to be on the move.
But Jamal Williams is a really nice bruiser back, that could help you get in that 4th and goal. Or
he led the NFL in touchdowns last year, so that's pretty much what you're going to get out of him. You have the ball inside the 5-yard line, you're just going to pound it to Jamal Williams till he gets it in. He's not that every down game-breaking running back.
No, he's just that short yardage guy.
Yeah.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, did Zeke wind up signing with Buffalo?
No. He's still a free agent. They're just saying.
Is he still a free agent? Okay.
Yeah, he's a free agent. They're just saying that Buffalo will be a smarter destination for him to go to.
Well, I know Singletary is not listed on the Bills' depth chart anymore, so I guess that means he's pretty much officially gone now then from Buffalo?
Yeah, they didn't re-sign him, and Buffalo also released Isaiah McKenzie, but they just also signed another wide receiver earlier this morning. I don't think he's going to be a Isaiah McKenzie type player, but
right.
Buffalo, they're not looking good defensively, and they're losing weapons offensively, and it's really I mean, I understand they got Josh Allen, they got Stephon Diggs.
Bro, I would love it for Stephon to just say screw Buffalo and have him come down and play with his brother in Dallas. That's what I was really hoping for that.
I knew it was coming back to the
turn down Brandon Cooks. Hey, look, I'm not going to turn down Brandon Cooks. I mean, that was a good pickup. But I would have loved to have Stephon come down there and play with his brother. I thought that would have been a great chemistry booster. You know what I mean?
Jay, I'm pretty sure every single one of us here except for Dustin, because he's already dealt with the Stephon Diggs drama, Every one of us here will want Stephon Diggs on our team at this very moment.
Oh man, well he's just he's just so good and so fast and just.
But that's the thing. But that's the
you
thing.
put him opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Oh my god! Or I should say, because you know what? I would have Stephon Diggs at the 1, Gallup at the 2, and then I'm gonna have CeeDee Lamb as my slot guy, and I'm gonna say let's roll, baby.
If you get Stephon Diggs, you put him in the slot.
Oh, is Stephon? Is that his natural? I thought he was a.
That's what he was when he came into the NFL. He kind of made himself the number 1 receiver on the outside, but he's still only 6'1", 186 pounds. So he's still built like a slot receiver. It's just that all the teams that he's been on,
you're saying you would have CeeDee at the 1, Gallup at the 2, and then have Diggs at the slot.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean that's cool. I'm just asking.
And now, even if Dallas gets him now, I would do CD as the 1, Cooks as the 2 on the outside, and if they were to get Diggs, I'd still put Diggs in the slot.
So what do you think? So now that they actually do have Cooks, so how would you do it now though? Do you have Cooks and Gallup on the outside, then CD in the slot? Is that how you would do it now?
Yeah, that's how I would do it now, just because Cooks is literally being brought there to be the deep threat.
Yeah,
you have to put Cooks on the outside.
I'm really upset you guys got Brandon Cook. I really am. Out of all the signing, like Stephon Gilmore, I don't give 2 shits about, but Brandon Cooks, that man has 6 1,000 receiving yards.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And you watch. Hey, if Gallup, what I'm predicting happens, which they say the second year after ACL is usually when you hit back into your stride. If Gallup can get back to where he was that year that him and Amari Cooper and Sweeney were all together, man, I'm telling you. Hey, look, you watch. I guarantee you. I bet you Cooks gets a double team. That opens it up for Sweeney in the slot. Then it's going to open up for Gallup to have another 1,000-yard season on that outside. That's what I'm predicting.
It won't matter. It won't matter, because Dak will keep throwing the ball to the other team.
Exactly. That's the one thing. He's right. He's right, Jay.
Let me ask you a question. Josh Allen threw 14 interceptions last year. Why the fuck don't we say that about Josh Allen? Nobody ever brings that shit up about Josh Allen, but one guy's got one more interception, and we're roasting him like there's no fucking tomorrow.
Here's why, Jay. How many less games did Dak play than Josh Allen last year?
Hey. Nobody asked you that question. But it's still. The question is though, Chris. I don't answer your question. But you can answer mine first. Why don't we pursue him for having 14 picks?
I always do. I always do
on him, but what I'm saying is Dak done it in less games.
Who's Dak throwing the ball to? Outside of CD, what do you got?
Well, so now we're making.
No. What I'm saying, no. Think about it now. Who do you really have?
Answer it, Chris. It's an easy answer question because Jay likes to go around and question all his people, or even actually name all.
I'm just saying. What do we have? What, a guy Gallup off an ACL? We had CeeDee Lamb, and then we had Tolbert, who was an undeveloped wide receiver.
Stop that shit. Because you like to throw in Michael Gallup. You like to throw in Michael Gallup. Where's Michael Gallup at?
Yeah, Gallup. Yeah, T.Y. Hilton.
Really?
That shit. You had Dalton Schultz as well.
Really? Oh, so I got Uncle Drew on my team. Automatically, that's the way it works. Okay.
Is it Uncle Drew amazing?
Hey, you shut your mouth over there. You're in New England. Nobody cares about New England.
Hey, how many games did Dak miss? 5 last year?
I think it was. No, I don't think. Yeah, it was 4 or 5, something like that. When Cooper Rush was in, because he came back right after the loss to the Eagles. Is when he came back. I think it was Pittsburgh or something like that. We played.
Yeah, I think it was 4 games because they were counting his 1 win from last year, and then he went total as a starter 4-0, and then he ended up losing, and then that's when Dak came back. So I think he was out for 4 games. But still, he's getting thrown the ball from Dak Prescott. And don't say why you don't trash talk Josh Allen, because I'm always trash talking Josh Allen.
I'm just saying, I want to hear more people holding these upper echelon quarterbacks to the same damn fire that you hold the middle to early run quarterbacks.
Wait a minute. Last week you were saying you wanted the Cowboys to get rid of Dak. Now you're a Dak's fan again. Which one?
Wait a minute. I never said I'm okay with getting rid of Dak. Don't say that shit. You do that shit. Don't do that shit. That's not what I said. All I'm saying is no, one does not equate to the other. Look, do I want a guy that throws 15? No. Do I want a guy that throws 14? No. I'm just saying, why don't we give equal amounts of shit? That's all I'm saying on that front. As to who I want as my quarterback, no, I don't. I don't want that. I'd much rather have. Honestly, I'd rather have Brock Purdy at this. Or not? Is it Brock? Is that his name? Purdy.
Yeah,
Purdy right now.
Jay, if you were a Bills fan, I would give Josh Allen just as much shit as I'm giving Dak Prescott. But you're not a Bills fan, you're a Cowboys fan.
I do that too. And to Dustin as well. Dustin knows from last year, I'm always trash talking Kirk Cousins. And I feel like I'm the only one that does it. Everybody's like, what are you looking at? I don't care. I'm trash talking Kirk Cousins.
Jay, you might be
somebody out there in Indy, but for the love of God, you don't have anybody to trash talk.
Jay, you might be interested in this.
I'm listening. All ears, baby.
Dallas is bringing in Melvin Gordon for a workout today.
Oh, that's
really? Oh my God, no!
Don't get too hyped. Don't get excited for that.
No, trust me. I am nowhere near elated. Or no, I'd rather you just give me Singletary before you give me Gordon. God,
I'd rather go after Kareem Hunt. Isn't he still?
And again, I don't understand why Dallas hasn't made a play on Kareem Hunt. I'd be totally fine with Kareem Hunt coming in and being the change of pace back for Pollard. I'd be ecstatic, honestly, because I like Kareem Hunt. Honestly, I really do. I'd like Kareem Hunt for the Kansas City Chiefs.
He keeps getting overlooked from what happened in his time in Kansas City and then being the backup to Nick Chubb. He's getting overlooked.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, hey, that dude could be really good on some good teams, man. And I think he'd fit in perfectly with that. I bring his ass down here, damn it. Because honestly, if you don't, Dallas is going to have some serious decisions to make at number 26. They really are. Do you go running back, and hopefully maybe that Robinson is there, or that Gibbs is there, or do you go tight end because you're probably going to lose Dalton Schultz and take a chance at that direct? Because there are about 2 or 3 good tight ends that should be available. Which direction are you going to go?
You go tight end in the second round. You don't go at first round.
Some of those tight ends, though, may not be available in the second round, according to a lot of mock drafts.
And even if that's the case, you can still find a good, but somebody as good as Dalton Schultz, but you still will be able to find some good free agent tight ends kind of in that second wave of free agency yet.
I think Hooper's out there, and who else is out there? There's a couple of
I think
Irv Smith is out there.
Oh yeah, Austin Hooper's out there. Schultz, obviously. Cameron Brate's out there. Kyle Rudolph is out there. That's a great red zone threat.
Yeah, I would not mind the Kyle Rudolph because I have seen that dude.
OJ Howard's out there.
Yeah.
So there is we're
talking about guys though that. Yeah, I don't know, man. God, just pay Dalton the money. Fuck. But then again, nobody else is paying Dalton money right now. Nobody else is bringing Dalton in for. So do you think that there may be a slowed market on Dalton Schultz?
I think Dalton might be asking too much.
That's what I'm saying. So do you think maybe he resigns with Cowboys when he lowers that sticker price?
I think the problem that Dallas has right now is if he does lower that sticker price, I think more people are going to go after him.
Which then could really drive his stock back up if they get into a bidding war for him.
Yeah. If Dallas is going to get a tight end in the second round, they should go after Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
From Iowa. He's ranked 57th of the 57th best prospect in the draft, and he's the number 4 tight end prospect.
Yeah. No, I agree, Anthony Price. I think Cowboys either going to get a running back or a tight end, I think, in that first round. Jerry likes that splash shit, man. What's that one tight end, Candace, or what's that dude's last name?
Well, they need a running back as well because Pollard's not going to be ready at the beginning of the season, is he?
That's what I was saying. I was thinking running back might be the more needed position, honestly, because of Pollard, like you said. And I would, hey, listen, I like Robinson. I think the guy's elusive. He can make cuts.
I mean,
you know,
the problem that I have with taking a running back in the first round, though, is there are no running backs that are even graded as a first-round grade right now. So if you're drafting a running back in that first round, you are reaching, and you are reaching hard.
Yeah. Well, I do reach pretty hard there, stat guy. I've been known.
The only one that's a close first round pick is that Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
I
think Gibbs is more of a second round guy, I think.
If you go and get Bijan Robinson, then you're pretty much saying that you're not going to commit to Pollard after this year because Bijan Robinson's going to be an every down back.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I just don't know how Pollard's going to come back off this injury. I mean, I think he could come back great, or he could come back still injury prone.
They have the Cowboys taking a running back in the 4th round.
Who the hell they got him taking?
Tajay Spears out of Tulane.
I'd have to go back. I had to go look. I don't know anything about Tajay Spears out of Tulane.
Oh, hold on. I'll get him something for you.
I figured they might take one maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round, but yeah, I agree. Kind of agree. I don't know if they'll take one in the 1st round just because there's running backs are devalued now in the league.
The Tajay Spears out of Tulane ran for 1,581 yards this past year, 19 touchdowns.
Oh Lord. Yeah. Well, but you know what they'll always say. He's great. He ran for 1,500 yards, but what was his competition? I mean, they always make that same.
Ran for 8 yards a carry.
Damn, 8 yards a carry, no matter what division, is pretty respectable. It's pretty respectable. What was he like? 5'6", 215?
5'10", 200.
5'10", 200. Yeah. I like the smaller backs, like the Maurice Jones-Drew type. I just think that, man, they can finagle them ways in and out, man.
I hated Maurice Jones-Drew.
Washington. The tight end you're thinking of, Anthony Price, that's Washington. That's Darnell Washington.
The one that's not draft eligible yet.
He used to kill the Colts. I hated MJD. He killed the Colts.
But I'm just saying, that style of back is crazy, man.
Yeah, he was tough. But yeah, he used to kill the
Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, he was like Mighty Mouse.
The other one that everybody hates was Darren Sproles.
Yep.
Yeah, I never liked Sproles. He was out of that same kind of mode or mold.
Well, I think being short running back too, it
helps you.
Yeah, you kind of get lost behind the offensive line.
Fuck yeah.
You get in there in the trenches, you're smaller, harder to see, and you.
And plus, let's be honest, if you're 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", whatever, even 5'10", you got a 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" pound, like you said, offensive lineman. I mean, they get a tackle down. I mean, you can get if your motor's quick enough, and you got a good first step, you can break a lot of those types of tackles.
If you're the Cowboys though, and you want to focus on running back, you wait until next year's NFL draft to wait on the running backs. You have Blake Corum in next year's draft. You have Kendall Milton. You have Kendall Milton from Georgia in next year's draft. You have Jace McClellan from Alabama, Donovan Edwards from Michigan, Travion Henderson from Ohio State, Braylon Allen from Wisconsin in next year's class.
Yeah, I was getting
next year's running back class is going to be absolutely loaded.
I was getting ready to mention Edwards as well because Michigan was loaded at running back with Edwards and Corum.
Raheem Sanders from Arkansas will be probably the top-rated running back in that class next year. Nobody even talks about him at all.
Oh, my God. Jay, get back on the screen. Nobody wants to see that freaking logo.
Are you guys surprised nobody has made an offer to Lamar Jackson?
No, not really.
I've said this since day one. Lamar Jackson screwed himself out of $200 million last year.
Mm-hmm.
Asking the money that turning down the money that the Ravens offered him, and then going out and single-handedly giving away 5 of the first 6 losses that Baltimore had by fumbling the ball in the 4th quarter. He played himself out of a $300 million contract. And he's got no one to blame but himself. You want to represent yourself and not be represented with an agent. This is the problem that ends up happening where you don't get the deal that you want to get. You go out and have a worse year than you expect to have, and then you pretty much screw yourself out of a big-time contract when it comes to time to get one.
Yeah, and not only did you get the deal you wanted, when you're not having an agent, you're the guy doing the negotiations. Then it gets personal because you don't have that buffer of an agent where it's because negotiation. What teams do, they're going to tear you down because they don't want to pay you as much. Well, instead of an agent hearing that and going back and telling Lamar what he needs to hear, Lamar's hearing that personally. So then it gets personal. I think that's part of it too.
It is part of it, and like I said, if Lamar Jackson would have went out and had a good first 7-8 weeks of the season, I think he would have gotten $250 million from somebody. But the guy had 5 or 6 fumbles in the fourth quarter.
And he didn't finish the season either.
No, he didn't finish the season, and he had 5 or 6 fumbles in the first 6 weeks of the season. He lost 4 of them, and 3 of them cost Baltimore the game. He literally played himself out of about $100 million in 6 weeks.
And hasn't there been reports that he could have played there at the end of the season, but didn't, basically because of him and the Ravens' personal issues?
Yep.
Did they even make the playoffs?
No,
they missed it by a game. Miami ended up getting the final spot.
Yeah, that's another reason right there.
That's another reason why, because Lamar Jackson could have played the final 3 weeks of the season. He said no because he was on the fritz about how Baltimore handled the situation.
Hey, that's some Dallas Cowboy shit.
Hey, no, it's not. You shut your damn mouth.
Look at Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. That was some Cowboy shit.
How do you figure?
Because Zeke was crying like a little girl until he got his money. And then once he got his money, what happened?
What? He continued to play.
Yeah, continued to play down to the ground.
Jay, I will say this, Jay. Ezekiel Elliott might go down in history as the biggest fall from running back stardom in NFL history.
Man,
the moment that guy got paid, he hit a brick wall and he fell hard.
And that's being polite by Dustin, because if it was me, I'll say he'll go down as one of the dumbest running backs in NFL history.
I don't think he ever came back from Cabo.
Like the moment
I think Ezekiel Elliott got sidetracked in his quest by a lot of other things, and I just think he just never had that focus, that hunger, that drive, that you need to be successful. I think he kind of lost some of that and became domesticated. And I think that's the worst thing that ever happened to Zeke.
It's because he missed his half-cut jersey.
Hey, listen, they should have let him keep that half-cut jersey. If that's what he needed, they should let him keep that shit. Fuck. Yeah, man, I really had high hopes for Zeke. I really had high. Man, after those first 2 years, I was like, man, this dude's going to be all right. And then, like you said, man, he hit that wall, and it was just never the same. It was like seeing 2 different players out there. It was never the same player ever again. It was like
before he got the money, he would run through tackles and just run people over, and he got that contract, and it was like first contact, he'd be down.
It's like the money. It's like he got the money, and now the money's weighing him down.
Yeah. Well, they say not everything is good when you get paid, but I don't know how. I'd be playing my ass off if I got the damn contract.
Jay, did you feel the same way about Dak?
What about Dak?
Yeah, did you feel that same way about Dak?
I've always said I've never been 100% happy with Dak, man. But it is what it is. I mean, that's who Jerry Jones gave us, and so you got to ride with it. And it's not that he's played bad. It's just for the last 2 years he really has, like you said, like that guy brought up and everything. 15 interceptions, 14 interceptions a year before. So, and then of course, now he was injured in both seasons, but still, I mean, damn, son. I can the last 2 years because before the 20 season or 21 season, whatever that was. His turnover ratio wasn't that bad. And then those last 2 seasons, for whatever, ever since he jacked up that ankle or whatever, he's just been injury. I mean, he's been interception prone.
And I can live with interceptions.
Yeah,
I just can't live with costly interceptions when you throw them. And like when you watch Dak Prescott throw
interception, not costly. You're turning the ball over, it's that guy.
But like if you throw an interception in the first quarter.
I mean, I don't know. Is there like a non-costly interception? Because I would love to have a non-costly interception.
If you throw an interception in the first quarter, it doesn't hold as much merit as if you throw an interception with 2 minutes left in the game in the fourth quarter.
Or you just throw an interception.
minutes
It goes
left.
Or
literally
like,
right
or
to
it's like
Unless-
third down, or it's like third down and 19, and you throw the ball up for grabs, and it ends up working out like a punt.
Hey, sometimes the interceptions supposed to be momentum shifters, though, stat guy.
No, I
So
get
don't
that, but I'm
think
just
it's a
saying, like,
interception. Gonzo, do you like interceptions? Is there any interception that you think is not costly?
That's not costly. Yeah, there's one that's not costly.
God, shut up, damn it.
It
You
is.
always gotta go against me.
Well,
Why
listen.
can't you just say, yo, Jay, you're right, man. There's nothing not costly.
If you were right, I'd say, hey Jay, you're right, but you're not right this time.
It's a
if
good
it's third down and 19, if it's third down and 19 at midfield,
If it's third and 20 and there's 30 seconds left in the first half, and you throw one way down the field and it gets intercepted, that don't hurt you.
or in the same situation, Chris, if it's third down and 20 and you have the ball on midfield and you take a chance at the end zone and you get intercepted and the guy gets tackled at the 3, it's equivalent to a punt inside the 3-yard line.
It does hurt you because you didn't get the touchdown that could have
But
got
you might have not gotten the touchdown anyways, and the chances are you're not going to make a 60-yard field goal.
Hey.
It's equivalent to a punt at that point.
Yeah, it's equivalent to a punt inside the 5.
Little nicer tone. You can be a little softer in the tone of voice. Thank you.
But yeah, you look at Dak Prescott's interceptions. 11 of the 15 interceptions he had came in the fourth quarter, and most of them came in the final 5 minutes with the game on the line.
So he had 11 costly interceptions.
Yeah. I can live with interceptions in the first quarter. I can live with interceptions where you're taking a chance on third and long where if you don't convert, you're punting it away anyways, and if it gets intercepted, it works as a punt in your favor. But when you have the game on the line, you can't have 11 interceptions in the final 5 minutes. You just can't.
Hey, Frankie, how's old Kirk Cousins over there in the interception department? Costly interception department.
Kirk Cousins had 14 interceptions this year. 4 of them came in the fourth quarter, but only 2 of them came in the final 5 minutes of the game.
So what are you talking about?
So he only had 2 costly ones, maybe 6.
And of the 14 interceptions, Jay, 8 of them came the first 3 weeks of the season.
Oh, really?
So he only had 6 interceptions in the final 15 games.
We still beat you. Yeah.
Yeah, you did still beat us. But I'm just saying, it's not like he threw a ton of interceptions. He had 2 bad games early in the year.
All I know is, hey, I got the win over you this year.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins throws interceptions, but he doesn't throw interceptions late in the game when you need him to get touchdowns. And that's something that people have always criticized
Kirk Cousins throws. Kirk Cousins throws blank.
Let me ask you this, Jay. Would you rather have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback or Dak Prescott as your quarterback?
It's a horse apiece.
If you had to choose,
I'd rather have Mac Jones over Kirk Cousins.
Hey, no, what I'm saying is I think between both those quarterbacks, it's a lateral. It's a lateral between both those guys.
I think Cousins is better than Dak. I'd take Cousins over Dak.
Oh, man, please. Come on now. It's a lateral move. And if you don't think that's a lateral move, then what are we talking, man?
Didn't they win the same amount of playoff games? Haven't they won?
I don't think one's better than the other, and I don't think one is worse than the other. I just think it's a lateral move. I think it doesn't really matter either one, damn it. It's going to be the same result. It's going to be the same result whether I have Cousins or if I had Dak. It'd still be the same result.
Ooh.
What do you think, Frankie? You think that's a lateral move?
Well, I'll answer that in a second, but Rick Pitino just agreed to a 6-year deal to become St. John's coach. What did I tell you, Jay? What did I tell you?
Bruh, you are so old on that. I hope you got that out sooner on Twitter than you are just now.
How am I old on that when Adrian just came out reporting that just now?
We knew he was going to St. John's. I knew he was going to St. John's. I really thought he might go to Texas Tech, to be honest with you. I really had him going to Texas Tech, but St. John's is, that's a good spot for him as well, to be honest. I really kind of thought, and I think I was telling Gonzo, I was like, I wouldn't mind if he went over there to Georgetown and try to resurrect that program.
Hey, Georgetown got a new coach today anyway, so.
Cooley. Yeah. Hey, they get Cooley?
Yeah, from Providence.
Yeah, that's St. John's. All right, let's see what he does. Right.
But anyway, to answer your question, Chris, I honestly, I don't think those two are equally. I really don't think that they're equally. Just because I feel like Kirk Cousins is just a little bit better, and I wouldn't say just because he's been in the league longer, but it's because Dak had that ankle injury. Once he had that ankle injury, that's where everything went downhill for Dak. I mean, I don't think he fully still have recovered from that injury. Yeah, he had a couple of good games, and he has winning seasons with Dallas. I mean, He finally got a playoff win again.
Well, some of it,
this
though,
season.
some of that really wasn't an ankle injury, though. A lot of it was that hand injury that he had, where he couldn't grip the ball. That's really where he was struggling this year with his interceptions. According to them, they were saying that he still did not have full grip strength on the ball. And if you don't have good grip strength on the ball, I can see how that could float left.
I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit because if he didn't have full strength or full grip on the ball, then guess what? Mike McCarthy, you should be fired. And you should have just kept on. You should have kept on playing. What's his name? Cooper Rush, until your franchise quarterback gets fully healthy. So I don't want to hear that shit, Jay.
Hey, listen, were you even in the playoffs this year? Shut your mouth.
Hold on. What did you say to me earlier when I was commenting? Oh, when you mentioned injuries, that's for losers, right?
I didn't say anything.
You didn't say that now.
I said it's a lateral move. I said Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins is a lateral move, and it is a lateral move.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is earlier I mentioned something about the Astros injuries and stuff like that.
What about injuries?
You called me out saying when a person mentions injuries, that's basically calling yourself a loser. Sir, you just mentioned an injury from Dak Prescott's hand. So are you saying you're a loser? Am I wrong or am I right? I think I'm right.
Jay, I think you might want to plead the fifth on this one because you're not going to win it. What you think, Dustin? Because I know you're a Minnesota fan. Jay's the Cowboy fan.
Hey, I'm sorry though. Hey, listen, I just want before y'all go any further, somebody just tell me whether or not the New England Patriots were in the playoffs this year. I don't remember seeing them there, and I'm kind of old, so maybe they were there and I just didn't see them. Did anybody see the Patriots in the playoffs?
Guess what, sir? We weren't in the
playoffs. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Hey, does anybody see the Yankees even getting past Astros this year? No.
Hey, first of all, we're talking about football.
Hey, what about the Lakers? Anybody do anything good with the Lakers these days? Are they barely struggling to get into the top 10?
No, actually, we're not. We're actually in the top 10, and we're tied with Minnesota.
Okay. That was.
I mean, the Lakers have more wins. Lakers have more wins this year than Houston's had the last 2 years combined.
Right. Where you been? We're in rebuild mode. They're supposed to be.
God.
Hey,
you've been in rebuild mode since James Harden left town.
Hey, stat guy, who's your basketball team again?
Chicago, who's in the playoffs right now, too. They're in the playoffs to the 10 seed right now, and they might get to the 8 seed if they win tonight.
Listen. The Patriots might have not made the playoffs last year, Jay. But guess what? Mac Jones still has the same amount of playoff wins than Dak Prescott, and that's one. So what are we talking about?
What, did all of our teams suck, maybe? I don't know.
No, I don't think – no, Frankie, Mac Jones didn't win in the playoffs.
Except for the Astros. Except for the Astros. Y'all call kiss my ass because the Astros are world champions. So suck it.
It's the only thing you could talk about. But guess what?
Hey, you know what? No, hey, but I got a championship. What do you got?
27 of them.
You got your dick in your hand. Shut up. Hey, by the way, the Roughnecks, hey, they could get the XFL championship. We only lost one game. It is what it is, but we're still in the hunt for that. So
they almost came back and won that game, and they played like shit that whole game.
They did play like shit that whole game. That's all right though. Hey, we're in it. Frankie, who's your XFL team? Do you have one?
No, I don't have one. It was the Guardians, but they moved them to Orlando.
That's what I was saying. I didn't know because I didn't even think Jersey had a team, did they?
No, we don't have a team anymore. They were actually New York Guardians.
So he's got the New Jersey Generals in the USFL.
Yeah, I got the
Jersey. Oh, that's right. He'll be meeting the Gamblers. Badass team that we are.
Not really. Not against the Generals. I think we whipped your ass last year.
Hey,
if I'm not mistaken.
Hey. Were you in Birmingham that day?
I don't think you were either.
I know it wasn't. That's what sucks. Like nobody who gives a shit about the WSFL? It's like Birmingham. It's just all straight Birmingham football.
Not anymore.
They should call it Birmingham 1 versus Birmingham 2.
No, they're playing at like 4 different sites.
They're playing in 4 different sites this year, and then they're going to go to 8 sites next year.
AP says XFL equals DC undefeated.
Hey, Anthony Price, nobody asked you.
Well, I mean, it does help when DC is the best quarterback in the XFL.
I was going to say, if I was to have a team for the XFL, it would probably have to be DC because that's the only closest place to me with an XFL team.
That's how I am for the XFL.
There was a lot of good football players though that came out of that original USFL though. I mean, they had a lot of really good players come out of there into the NFL from that spawn.
The USFL as well. Jay, the Cowboys went and got the guy from the New Jersey Generals. Remember, I was hyping you up about that.
Yeah. Well, hell, look at Jim Kelly, man.
Hey,
look what he did with Buffalo after the USFL.
Maybe the Cowboys could go get Danucci.
Shut your mouth. Shut your damn mouth. You know what you can get? These nuts. What you get?
Hey.
What? I said nuts, like almonds, peanuts,
Yeah, cover up with that.
grape nuts. I don't know.
We are with Google Play and Roku TV, and we do not want to get canceled, sir.
No, that's what I said. You can get Chex Mix nuts.
There you go. Cover it up. That's what I like.
No, but yeah, man. Hey, we still got the USFL after the XFL. I mean, man, talk about getting oversaturated with football. Not that I mind. Hey, I'm okay with it.
So let me ask you guys real quick. Since the deal is done and Rick is with St. John's for 6 years, do you see St. John's going to March Madness all 6 years, or will it be less than that?
It'll be 5 years. It'll take next year. I don't see them getting there, but by year 2, I do.
And then you think they'll go like on a straight streak after that?
Yeah, because one thing Rick Pitino's always been good at is recruiting, and that's something that St. John's has lacked the last couple of years is recruiting. But the other thing that he has going for him now that he didn't have back when he was at Louisville is the transfer portal. And how many of these kids that are going to be leaving schools as seniors that have that extra year of eligibility are going to want to go play for Rick Pitino.
And I agree with Jay earlier. I think Rick Pitino made a good decision on going with St. John, but
yeah,
after what happened with him at Louisville and how his tenure at Louisville ended, he needed to go to a school like Iona to kind of take a back seat, kind of resurrect his career to show that he was still a good coach, and he got Iona into the NCAA tournament twice.
No, I understand.
Knowing that he was able to still coach, everyone's like, okay, let's just bring him back to a D1, like a big D1 program now, and just kind of let him do what he does.
And I understand that, but like what me and Jay were talking about on Saturday on Unscripted is if you had him go to Texas Tech, look at the matchups that he would have been having to deal with. If you want to resurrect your career as being a really good coach, go to Texas Tech, deal with Texas.
Because then he would have Baylor, Texas, Houston. I mean, there's a whole lot of just basketball there. And then you got LSU next door. Jesus. But if you want to stay in the SEC, I mean, you've been playing. Well, I don't know if he would have been playing A&M if it depends on where. Well, what is Texas Tech? Jesus, I'm not even sure what league they're. Are they 12?
They're in the Big 12.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
they would definitely play. Well, they definitely would have been playing Texas, and that Texas game would have been crazy.
They won't be playing Texas anymore because Texas is going to the SEC.
Oh yeah, now they are.
Ooh, that means Texas is gonna have to deal with Alabama, baby.
Yeah, we'll do with Alabama. We're still in it. Hey, you still got to deal with this year. Hey, it's not over, killer.
Who's going to win the NCAA tournament this year?
Alabama.
That's a hard one. I think Houston has found. I think they're dealing now better with those Sasser and Shed injuries. Obviously, you saw how well we dominated Auburn. So I think Houston's going to be there. I think Houston's going to have to play Texas, unfortunately, and I think Houston's going to be the one that takes Texas out of it. But
I think Houston has a tough game coming up. Miami.
Yeah, we got to play Miami.
Miami ain't going to be.
Well, they had those little thumps down there in Indiana, but you know.
Jay wants that Houston-Texas matchup so he can't get mad. It's a win-win for him.
No, it's not really a win-win for me. I mean, I
have Houston winning the whole thing, so I got to stick with Houston. But my other team went out opening weekend, so I'm pretty much just screwed.
Well, you might as well just throw your bracket out because Houston is not going to win it all for you.
Hey, but I did beat Frankie last week, so don't think that his bracket's not busted. Okay, so
my bracket isn't busted. My bracket is perfect.
Yeah, okay. No, your bracket's busted. Your bracket's busted like your vagina.
I had Kansas winning it all in their round, but I think Alabama's going to win it all.
I think I had Arizona.
Frankie, are you afraid to stand up to Frankie and tell Frankie you're full of shit?
I had Arizona playing Houston.
I think Alabama's the best team still in it.
Yeah. You're only saying that because Indiana lost. And so
No,
you
it's-
want to try to
No, it's because Alabama
Never
got the
happened.
number.
See,
Because
he's gonna
Alabama
jump over Frankie.
got the number 1 overall seed for a reason. Alabama came from the toughest conference this year and nearly ran that conference undefeated.
Yeah, they're. I think they got the most complete team. I picked Kansas. I picked Kansas. I thought Kansas would win it all, but now the teams left. I think Alabama's going to win.
How about that Arkansas call? Frankie thought Kansas was going to win too. I told Frankie, I said, man, hey, this is Arkansas's team. He didn't believe me.
That was a really good game. It came down to 1 point.
It was a good game.
Jay, I said Kansas, but on paper I picked Arkansas.
And it hurt Kansas that I think.
You picked Kansas in that game, though.
But on paper I picked Arkansas
in the tournament. I think that hurt Kansas as well.
Oh, not having the self in there. But that Roberts. They've performed pretty well under Roberts.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but I mean, when you don't have your main guy, it's going to affect you some.
Yeah, you are. You really are saying he's a bad coach. For someone who deals with a lot of bad coaches, you're really saying that.
Frankie the asshole.
I'm just
saying.
saying.
That one asshole.
I'm just saying, Chris deals with a lot of bad coaches. The Reds, the Colts, the Pacers. I mean, you have Indiana. They did you well, but how far did he get you?
Second round.
Wow.
Shit. Listen, sir.
And they didn't play.
Sir.
And they didn't play good last night.
Me and Jay are in the Sweet 16. All right, we don't want to hear that.
And they didn't play good last night at all, man. I was disappointed with the way they played. But
they got a shitty coach. That's why.
Actually, I think we finally got a decent coach. It took us a while.
Hey, Frankie, have you ever noticed that outside of MLB, NFL, Frankie, have you ever noticed how Chris always is on the outside looking in on our happiness?
He's always on the outside looking in. What do you mean? What besides MLB and NFL? He's always on the outside looking in.
It's almost like I wanna just crank open the window and say, "Come on in, Chris. It's okay. I know it's cold out there. Come on in here, get warm."
By like the second week of any sports that's live, basketball, baseball, football, college, anything, within 2 weeks, Chris's team's already eliminated from any potential playoff run. And that's 2 weeks out of like how many weeks of sports? Within 2 weeks, Chris is like, yeah, we're done. We're eliminated. It's over. Maybe next
USA,
year.
to answer Damien's question, it would be the USA winning it all because there's only 3 teams left.
Yeah.
What did you say?
What is more possible, Alabama winning March Madness or USA winning the World Baseball Classic? I said it's more possible that USA wins it because there's only 3 teams left.
My God. I swear, there's a huge rivalry between Damien and Dustin. This is something about the D's. They don't like each other.
Well, I mean, you can't fix duct tape. You can't fix stupid, not even with duct tape, and that's just a common sense question. There's 3 teams left in the World Baseball Classic. There's 16 teams left in March Madness. Who has a better chance to win it? Obviously, the fucking league that's got 3 teams left.
Dustin's over there like, man, I get that Gorilla Glue, and it still doesn't stick with Dustin.
Hey, did you see that look at Dustin? I'm not gonna lie. With that look in your face, you scared me.
I can't stand stupid. I can't stand stupid. I can't stand stupidity.
I can't. You almost shot myself.
I can't stand stupid. I can't stand stupidity. When you have 16 teams left in the NCAA tournament and you have 3 teams left in the World Baseball Classic, who the hell do you think has a better chance to win it all? Obviously, the freaking league that's got 3 teams left. Yeah, especially the U.S. Technically, there's 2 teams left because the U.S. already qualified for the championship game. Obviously, the U.S. has a better chance to win it all because they have a 50% shot to do it, as opposed to a 14.6% chance to do it that Alabama has.
Oh, my God. Damien makes the people of Chicago look bad. And Dustin's a Chicago Bull fan who's not even in Chicago.
Before we close out the show, do you think U.S. is going to win it?
No. Japan has been the team to beat since the World Baseball Classic started, and I think they've shown that start to finish. They really haven't been tested.
What if they lose tonight, though?
If they lose tonight, then I will say U.S. is the favorite to win it. But at the same time, I could also argue that Mexico is the favorite to win it too because Mexico spanked the crap out of U.S.
Which is
And
why the U.S.
it
is
was
going to
ugly.
come out and spank Mexico. Mexico's
Come on,
beating
man.
2019.
You need to show some patriotism, and you better sit there and say USA is going to win it all. Or I'll come over there and revoke your citizenship status, throw a kimono on you, and send your ass back.
Do you remember who I predicted to win the World Baseball Classic, Jay?
Yeah, I know you've been on this Japan kick the
I
whole
said
time.
Japan was going to beat the United States in the championship game. When the World Baseball Classic started, I picked Japan to beat the U.S. when the thing started because I said Japan has the deeper pitching staff. And they do. And the U.S. has shown flaws with how Mark DeRosa has handled his pitching staff. And Japan has this made. They go with Sasaki tonight against Mexico, which lines them up to have Shohei Ohtani go in that championship game tomorrow. The U.S. does not have Adam Wainwright tomorrow. They don't have Lance Lynn tomorrow. They're two aces in the World Baseball Classic they don't have for their championship game tomorrow because they had such a crappy game against Venezuela when they had to come back on the game-winning Trey Turner grand slam that their pitching staff got completely screwed up. The way Mark DeRosa had to handle his pitching staff against Mexico threw everything off. So now I don't know who they plan to start tomorrow. I don't even know who's available to start tomorrow for Team U.S., but all I know is that Shohei's lined up if they win. And if Shohei goes, you have to give the advantage to Japan because it's Shohei versus whoever the U.S. has to throw.
Yeah, that's what worried me about U.S. the whole tournament has been the depth at the pitching staff.
And up until the Venezuela game, and you could argue up until Trey Turner hit that grand slam, the U.S. offense was underwhelming. They had the one big inning against Canada where they scored 9 runs. But outside of that, they scored 3 runs against Colombia and won 3-2. They scored 5 runs against Mexico and lost 11-5. They scored 6 runs against Great Britain. Their offense really was not playing that well until the final 3 innings against Venezuela and then obviously yesterday against Cuba. You can't afford to go 4 or 5 innings and not score runs against Japan because they will score against you.
Yeah, that's I've said that before, man. That's why I feel like what makes me nervous about the U.S. team is our pitching. Like our pitching is just
What do you think, Jay? Is U.S. going?
I'm still riding with the U.S. I'm still riding with the U.S. even though I am worried about the pitching, but I'm going to ride. I'm still going to ride. I think sometimes people can rise to the challenge, and if our pitching can just put a pretty good effort in, I think we'll be okay.
But the problem I have is if you look at the United States lineup, do you know what their career numbers are against Shohei Ohtani?
It's probably not good.
They are 26 for 274 with 94 strikeouts.
Yeah. Hey, well, we all know how good that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. I think the best thing they can do is just try to make Ohtani, make a ton of pitches for every out. Or for every at bat.
And if they do that, you get 3 innings out of Ohtani. Then you go with that other guy that's 24 years old. That is also one of the best pitchers in Japan, who's probably going to be top posted free agent in 2025.
I just think to beat those 2 types of pitchers, you got to make them throw and then find your right pitch. Like don't patience is going to be the virtue. Can the American hitters be patient enough to wait for the good pitch rather than the not so good pitch? That's what I think it's going to come down to.
Who you got, Frankie? What do you think? United States going to win it?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
I think USA is going to end up winning it. I don't care what anybody else says. For one, O.J. Howard just got signed by the Raiders. For one, I don't want Mexico to win it because,
they knocked out Puerto Rico.
Shut up. All right, Dustin, we know.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. That's why you don't want them to win is because they knocked out Puerto Rico.
Hey, fuck you, Justin. Shut up.
I was mad because I wanted Puerto Rico to beat Mexico. I wanted a Puerto Rico-United States championship game, so that would have been awesome because of how close Puerto Rico is to Miami and how packed that stadium would have been.
Shut up. All right, Dustin, shut up. All right, and number 2, the hell with Japan. All right, Dustin, if you want to go and pick Japan to win, then guess what? Get out of our goddamn state. All right, go halfway around the world and move to Japan. Okay, eat some of those goddamn num-nums that they like to call freaking Chinese food, which, by the way, I'm not eating until Japan gets eliminated. All right? Mexican food already been banned from my house.
It's true, man. Hey, listen.
Just because I'm from the United States, do you think I'm dumb enough to pick the United States to win the World Cup?
Hey, you know what? Hey, listen, hold on, man. Hold on. Now. Listen, my wife brought sushi home last night, and I threw it outside. Bring no damn sushi into this household. It's us.
It's only one sushi I want, and you got it.
Listen,
you already got
you want to bring food in this house? You bring a big ribeye. You bring a baked potato fully loaded, and you bring some collard freaking greens, baby, because it's America time. America! Well, we cut the head off our fish before we eat it. America.
I'm gonna have me some good old Mexican food here in a little bit.
Hey, that's America.
Some Mexican food. How dare you, you piece of shit.
Hey, listen. You know what? I don't like Mexican food. I like Tex-Mex. There's a difference. I don't know what, but there's a difference.
There's a difference. That Tex-Mex is that fake shit. Mexican food is authentic.
You know what my insides do with real Mexican food? It's not pretty. Give me some Tex-Mex.
Mark DeRosa has revealed that Merrill Kelly is starting tomorrow.
Oh, jeez.
It was supposed to be Miles Michaelis, but Miles Michaelis had to come in to relieve Adam Wainwright against Cuba.
Well, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Shit. Hey, how far do you think Princeton gets in the tournament? How far they're still alive? How far do you think they get?
Final Four. No, I'm joking. Elite Eight.
Wow.
You think they get to the Elite Eight?
Yeah. They got so much riding on them right now, knocking off 2 high-seed teams.
Who do they play in the
They play Creighton.
Look at that. Even that name sounds ill. Yeah, they're definitely beating them. A team called Creighton.
I'm gonna say they make the Elite Eight. I think they're going to pull off another win.
I'll tell you what, that's kind of the one I'm kind of curious to see how far they go.
I can't pick Creighton. Every time I pick Creighton this year, they've lost, so I can't pick Creighton again.
Of course, hear their name. That just sounds like a loser's school, Creighton. Like, imagine you want to grow up, you graduate college.
Where do you want to go to school?
Where'd you graduate?
Creighton.
Where'd you graduate? Creighton.
The game.
Did you say crayon?
The game I'm looking forward to is Gonzaga and UCLA.
Because it sounds like Gonzo.
No, I think it's going to be a real good game.
Okay.
Adam
Adam Morrison is not playing this time for Gonzaga, so it's not going to be the same kind of game as last time.
I think Timmy does good stuff over there, though. Honestly, I think Gonzaga can take that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say here, I know I'm going to get some hate from Jay for it, but I think Miami's going to knock off Houston.
Ooh, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Oh, Gonzo, you little bastard. No, that's fine. Hey, look. Hey, you know what? Doubters are always welcome, and winners are always here.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm just saying.
You know, I'm going to say this now just because I looked at this. I want Houston and Texas to both win because then they would face each other in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That would be, I think, a really good Elite Eight for.
Oh God, that'd be crazy Elite Eight.
Just for Jay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if that happens, Jay's head isn't going to fit on the damn screen. It's going to be so big.
And his mouth's gonna be all on his mic.
Jay's gonna have a half Texas hat on, a half Houston hat on.
He's gonna have a Texas hat and a Texas hat and a Houston shirt.
All I can say, Jay, is you're not as dumb as what I did this weekend, and I'm still not gonna forgive myself for it.
What's that?
I bet $1,000 on Duke to beat Tennessee. But I
Oh,
also
that
bet
was
$1,000 to have Tennessee beat Duke.
That's crazy.
I bet $1,000 on two separate teams that played each other.
Well,
why would you do that? That's just a wash.
Because I had a little bit too much to drink on Friday when I placed my bet and didn't realize what I did until Saturday.
That's your fault.
Well, you know what though? But at least in your drunken stupor, you weren't smart enough to bet one against the other. That way, when you sobered up, you didn't lose any money.
I came out with zero. I bet 2,000 and came out with zero.
Will be a first time in your life. Won't be the last.
I thought it was Texas, not Tennessee. So I'm like, oh, I like this one. I like this one. And then as I'm watching the game, I'm like,
Wait,
oh.
Tennessee's playing Duke?
No, I thought it was Texas that I bet. I thought I put 1,000 on Duke, and then I thought I put 1,000 on Texas. And then as I'm watching the game and I'm watching like my screen where my bets are, I'm like, 1,000 Duke. I'm like, what the hell? What did I do? What did I do? I'm like, well, this game means nothing now.
God, you're gonna be that guy that you're gonna get home and Johnny Two Thumbs is looking for you because you forgot about a bet that you made that you welched on, and then they're gonna break all your hands, your fingers, your toes.
Hey, remember what I said in the ASAP chat the other day?
No,
That you're transgender?
I made $13,000 in parlays last week, and I already lost 11,000.
How do you lose $11,000? What's wrong with you?
March Madness kicks my ass. All right.
Listen, if anyone should get blamed, it's your wife. All right, your wife should be looking at this and being like, "You need to stop."
You need to call 1-800.
March Madness kicks my ass, and I don't like it.
You're like that Jim Carrey motherfucker in the bathroom kicking his own ass.
You have a better chance of putting money on the World Baseball Classic.
I did that already.
I told you, man. I said, Dustin, if you're gonna make stupid bets, just mail me $5,000. Just if you're gonna lose it to your friend.
You still owe me $100 on a Super Bowl, Jay.
Yeah,
man, what a time to be alive. God, let's get us out of here. We got shit to do.
Oh, now he wants to get out of here because he fucking got called out on $100.
Oh, I do need to get out of here anyway. The other show. Check out the ASAP Network new mobile app on Google Play Store. You can find the Google Play Store ASAP Network, Roku, Amazon. It's on LG Smart TVs as well now. Should be out in Apple here soon. Go check that out. Also, I'll be live here in about 15, 20 minutes with Easy Money, a sports betting show. My picks are 161 and 135 so far on the year. I went 5-2 on Friday. Let's see, what's today? Monday. We got GWR wrestling show this evening at 6:30. We're going to talk ECW and best wrestling managers. So join us for that. Then tonight we have GSR Gonzo Sports Room at 11. And tomorrow Unscripted at 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. That is correcto. Correcto. God, what a time to be alive, man. Damn.
Frankie, you have anything before we get out of here?
No, man, I don't got nothing.
Where was one? Oh, I do have one more thing. April 8th, Saturday, April 8th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Check out our live stream of DCCW Invasion 4 featuring Olympic champion and WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle. Buff Bagwell will be there, and also Rikishi is going to be in the house. So join us April 8th for that show.
Chris, I'm calling Triple H and Vince McMahon right now, and that place is getting sued. How dare you take that name?
What name?
Invasion.
Oh, yeah. It's it'd be Invasion 4, DCCW Invasion 4.
Yeah, that's just trademarking right there. That's WWE's pay-per-view.
Dude, there's people that there was one that I saw a couple weeks ago was having war games. I'm like, how the hell they get away with that?
Oh my god.
They were actually called their show War Games.
We're just gonna call our wrestling show Monday Night Raw.
But it wasn't nobody I deal with, but it was. And then there was another show I'm gonna be at that had somebody. I can't announce that one yet. So yeah, just be on the lookout. There's gonna be another big announcement coming up.
He's got it right next to it. Don't announce yet.
Don't say it, Chris. Shut your bio.
I messed up last week because they're doing a Indiana Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame this Friday, and we're going to be streaming it live Friday night at I think 7. But anyway, last week or a couple weeks ago, I was talking about it, and he had announced like 3 guys that was getting inducted, but he had also told me about other guys that was getting inducted. Well, I kind of accidentally announced a guy was getting inducted a couple weeks ago, and it hadn't been announced yet.
Oh, damn. Chris, what are we going to do with you?
Well, that's why I told him, I was like, that's why I don't like you telling me this stuff so early. Don't tell me until I'm allowed to say something, because you get so many different names, I forget which ones I'm allowed to say.
You had one job, Chris. One job.
I fucked it up. Jay, you have anything?
No. Other than, hey, make sure you guys are checking out what Frankie is doing over there on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, all one word on Twitter, man. Other than that, man, check us out on TikTok at Unscripted Sports, all one word. And we will catch you guys 7 p.m. Tuesday, Eastern.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Hope everybody has a great day.